Welcome back guys to another episode of The Shot, The Edit, where I aim to show you my thought process behind actually taking the picture and how I edit it in Adobe Lightroom. Today we're going to look at a simple ring shot. Like I say, it's really simple, there's nothing complicated about it, and it's really easy to set up and take the picture. You will need a couple of things and I'm going to go through them right now. First of all, you're going to need basically a torch like this one. You can use a gridded, say, speed light. That works absolutely fine, but I just find it spreads the light a little bit too far. With something like this, basically you can pick these up in garages. It has a zoom mechanism and it really narrows the light down. You can use also a snoot potentially on a speed light as well, but I don't know, I just find it a little bit potentially too bright, too powerful, whatever. This, I can control the light so much better. Again, that's just my personal preference. You might find it works better the other way around, but this is what I went with. For the bokeh balls in the background, I've just got a simple one of these things. You can pick them up, what, 4 or 5 quid, if that, 2 3 quid. A lot of like shops, like pound shops and that sell these, you know, so it's probably £1. I don't know. It's really cheap. Just get yourself some half decent batteries, because your likelihood you're just going to throw this in your bag, going to forget about it, you're going to go back and the batteries will be dead. So decent batteries, and also better the batteries, the brighter these will shine, which is ideal. So yeah, really cheap. Just chuck it in your bag. It's good full time. So camera wise, I've got a Sony a7 III. Fantastic little camera. I would highly recommend that if you haven't tried one of these yet, go into a shop, ask her to take a few sample pictures, maybe of the checkout assistant or whoever it is there at that point in time. Really good system. I've been using them a lot for weddings lately. Yeah, brilliant system. I've got it mounted with the 100mm macro from Canon. It's the L version and it's a brilliant lens. If you haven't tried one of these, again, go try one if you can, because it's a very versatile lens, not just for macro stuff, but for shots of the bride and groom or just anything really. It's a really good lens. Adapter wise, I've got the Sigma MC11, so I get all that digital information from the lens straight into the camera, so I can see what my settings were basically. Brilliant little combo. It works pretty much flawlessly, you might say, and I'm very happy with the results it's giving me. Settings wise for the actual picture was f4, because I want a little bit of depth of field so I can get enough of the rings in, basically in sharp focus, but I don't want too much that the bokeh balls in the background, you can see exactly what they are, those like kind of Christmas lights. So yeah, just f4, ISO of 250, because again, because we've got those lights in the background, I don't want them to basically blow out and looking a bit rubbish. And shutter speed of 1/25, because when you're doing macro stuff, any sort of slight movement is going to be almost magnified, you might say. So I want it to be fast enough so there's no movement in my picture. One other last little setting that is quite crucial, and if you're coming from a DSLR background, it's called servo, it's continuous focus on here, but either way you just want it so it can basically track the subject almost, because again, any sort of slight movement in camera and you're going to throw that focusing out. So having servo or continuous autofocus and you should be absolutely fine. Remember, any slight movements, it's magnified multiple times. Something you should remember though is don't just dial in the settings I've just given you, because every situation for these particular shots is going to vary greatly. So while it works for this particular shot, it won't necessarily work for the next picture. If you're on the DSLR, just put it into live view, just have a quick look, make sure the picture on the back of the screen looks okay and how you want it, and if it is, continue shooting. With a mirrorless camera, you can see how it's going to look pretty much instantly. Basically it's live view, isn't it? So yeah, just double check your settings before you shoot. Remember, you still want a little bit of depth of field. Try continuous shooting, continuous autofocus. You might find that you prefer the single point autofocus. It's completely up to you, but that's what I would recommend anyway. So with that basically out of the way, let's dive into Lightroom and see how I edited this picture. It's not going to take long, it's really quick and simple, so yeah, let's do this. So here we are in Adobe Lightroom, and I just want to basically just show you how it looked basically out of camera. And this is basically how it looked out of camera. It's pretty dull and flat, as you can imagine, being a raw file. But as I said, up here in the top left, you can see my settings as well. So I've got 1/25, f4, ISO 200, and it was shot on the 100mm macro, and ARW would basically represent the Sony RAW file. What I want to show you as well is this quick shot. There we go. You can see it. There's a torch just down here, which is the one I showed you just a minute ago. Here's my rings as point of interest, and you can see I can actually see the cone of the light coming off of this, so it's not going to affect or spill over onto basically my Christmas light in the background. And that's basically everything that I'm doing. There's nothing else to this shot. You can see there's bits of crap back here. It's a glass kind of effect table, and I'm basically just shooting from this direction coming up here. That's all there is to it, guys. There is literally nothing else I'm doing. And actually you can see up here, this was actually shot on an Olympus kind of camera. Not that that matters. And here, this would be the final shot once I've edited it. So how do I get to this point? Well, let's do this. So let's edit this. First thing we're going to do, I'm not going to play with the exposure just yet. I'm just going to lift the shadows just a little bit, maybe just bring those down. And I mean, this is a pretty standard kind of effect that I do on a lot of pictures. So up the clarity a little bit. Remember, we haven't got skin tones in here, so I don't have to worry about that too much. Dehaze I'm not going to really worry about for the moment. I might just bring vibrance up a little bit. Not really going to play with saturation too much. Tone curve is your pretty standard, almost S curve. Let's get some points on here without it going too wild. So we're just going to bring this ever so slightly down. And why is this one all the way down there? And we're going to bring this one just a little bit up. It's still looking a little bit dark, so I am going to brighten this up a little bit. And already, let's do a side by side. It's looking a little bit better. So, and all I did there is just press Y, so you can see side by side comparison. Nice and simple. There isn't a huge amount I want to do with this. I don't think there's any chromatic aberrations I have to worry about. There's a couple of like these bits up here, which I'm just going to quickly remove once I get. So I just got to get rid of these little spots here. Let's get rid of these really, really quickly. This is just potentially just dust on the sensor. Being a mirrorless camera, it is prone to getting a little bit more dust on there. Nice and easy. And when you're in this mode, see, I've still got my circle so I can erase things like so. If you just hold down the space bar, you'll see your hand come up and you can actually just move things around very, very, very quickly and easily. Okay, so that's done mostly, and yeah, I'm almost, so just brighten up a little bit more, and we're almost there, guys. It's, again, a very, very kind of simple edit on this. There's not much to it. So super quick before and then after. And you can see it already pops a little bit more. There's not much more I can really do to this picture, I don't personally think. Remember, I do believe a lot of people over edit their photos, which I don't really agree with. Sometimes just keep it simple is all you need to do. If you wanted to make it a little bit more kind of vintagey, you could just raise this a little bit here. If you really want to, it's not something I typically want to do with these type of pictures, but we're all individuals, and if it's something you want to do, you can also just raise the clarity if you want a little bit more to get a little bit more kind of detail sharpness, you might say, with the actual rings. You can see this one is ever so slightly out, but these two are perfectly fine. So I'm more than happy with that, and actually my couple was very happy with this shot as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. It's a nice, simple shot. And again, this is literally the before, bit flat and dull, and this is my after, and it looks pretty good in my eyes. So I've got a little bit of sharpness on this actual picture, and I'm going to actually just change the masking. If you actually hold down Alt and you actually move this, you can actually see where the image is being sharpened. So anything in white is where the image is being sharpened, and anything in black, it basically is not touching. So I'm just going to bring this up a little bit. It's not going to be super apparent what this does, but when you actually look at the grain, you don't want to sharpen the grain because it's just going to make it look bad. So yes, that's pretty much it. And let's have a look at before and the after on that. You can't really see that much of a difference. You might be able to see it when you actually really zoom in. It's really fine, guys, on here. There's a little bit of difference. Again, all I'm doing is turning these kind of on and off to see the actual difference. And with the tone curve, you'll see a big difference here actually. So that's with it off, and that's with it on. Again, big difference. It adds a little bit of contrast in the picture. And that's it, guys. That's my edit on this picture. Nice, simple, clean and easy. So if this has been quite useful to you, don't forget to give me a like, maybe comment, maybe even subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing more of these videos in the future. Just keep them coming and hopefully actually share some more information with you guys. Anyways, I'm going to catch you next time. Laters.